What up, nerds? Jamie here again with Iconic Effects. One of the things I've been talking about for a while now has been urethane painting. This is one of those things where I just really wanted to do it. It was, you know, besides molding the Robin torso, that was kind of the next step of, hey, this is what I want to do. And I'm actually working on a couple other things behind the scenes that I will be revealing here shortly as well. With all that kind of said, I tried some painting methods. They worked pretty well, but they just weren't the permanent solution I was looking for. Kind of figured out what works though, or at least what works for me. There's a paint called Imperiflex made by Imperial Surface Technologies that will flat out stick to urethane, period. That stuff is phenomenal, like really, really good paint system. I did not paint these pieces with that particular paint. Not because I didn't want to, or not because I didn't like it, but because I wanted a different type of finish. And with that paint, it was a little bit glossier than I wanted, so I wanted it to be, obviously, as you can kind of see here, more of a matte, semi-gloss kind of finish. So I ended up using BJB paints. Now, there are two paints they offer. They offer SC92, which is a water-based urethane paint, and then they offer SC89, which is a solvent-based urethane paint. You have to decide which one's going to work for you. I've used both. Both give very similar results to each other. So this right here is my Clooney cowl I painted up. This was done using the real powders that they use for the actual film cowl. So I did show in one of my other videos the Clooney blue fin that I've had sitting around for 20 years. Now you can kind of see the color right there, and you can see, I mean it's almost a spot-on match. The shine isn't there the same way, which, you know, it's 20 years old. I mean, at the end of the day, it's been handled so many times that I just, you know, at this point I'm like, I think it looks correct. But who really knows? You know what I mean? It's 20 years old. And all those suits are 20 years old, so there's not really anything to directly compare it to. The best thing I can do is try and match that fin up. So I have some pictures that I posted online on my Facebook and on my Instagram that show the fin and the cowl right next to each other under natural light, and they are just a spot-on match. So this was really important for me to paint because, you know, this was always kind of one of my goals. I wanted to have a proper Clooney blue cowl around my house and a proper Clooney blue suit. I'm working on the suit part of it. That's going to be a couple months down the line. The other thing I wanted to do was paint the Robin Redbird torso. Now, there are a couple ways of doing this bird if I wanted to. I could have just used an acrylic-based paint, and that would have actually worked, and it would have held up for standard costume usage, especially with that technique that I told you guys about, where I, you know, use the Liquitex medium glaze as its primer, and then the paint, and then more Liquitex medium glaze on top of it. That would have worked for this, because you're not having to stretch it or pull it or anything weird. You just have a little bit of movement, nothing too major. But the other option I could have done was just powder the mold. If I'd have put the powders directly in the mold before casting the urethane, then that bird would have been permanently on there. Done. What I don't like about doing the powders, though, is the powders kind of get everywhere. Like, they just do. You know, you're painting into a mold, and those powders, I mean, they're a light product, so kind of a little bit of wind or a little bit of breathing, and they can kind of blow and gravitate towards other areas. It's not hard to clean up. You just got to take some alcohol and wipe it down. But for this, because it was such a big piece, I was like, man, that's going to be really tedious to sit there and dab that stupid powder in and then clean it up, and then hopefully it didn't go outside the line somewhere and all of a sudden I have a red nipple or something. That's right, nipples. So I ran the piece in black. That's it. I'm just going to run a black piece. And I was like, I'll figure out the paint. I'll figure out what's going to work, and that's what I'm going to do. So I painted this up with BJB. Painted this up with BJB. Works great. For me, it's the way of going. For other people, the Imperiflex may work a little bit better. And then other people who really don't want to spend the kind of money these type of paints cost, the acrylic method works really well too. But, you know, basically, I just kind of wanted to show you, hey, look, here's how it kind of looks. I'm extremely happy. The paint stretches. It doesn't rub off. I'm not going to come up and scratch this thing or anything. Like, yeah, literally nothing happened right now. It does the job. I'm very, very, very happy with the BJB paint. So that's my takeaway on this stuff. You guys are going to have to experiment and figure out what works for you. This is my method. Till next time, nerds. I'll see you.